Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show, and I'm joined by Rich Day, and this is our Made in Utah segment, and you're the co-founder of Yiva.
Yiva, that's right, Yiva Naturals.
Happy to have you here. This we had a little bit of time to talk off camera, and I'm pretty excited about this. This is exciting news for people who are interested in, well, several areas of health, but specifically, I love this one, fertility, so the ability to have kids, which, you know, those of us who have kids know how awesome that is and why you would want to try so hard to do it. And there are people who have made all kinds of valiant attempts at many different ways in making that happen. Two out there's a natural product that can help.
You know, and we were one of those people. I mean, my wife and I, for 2.5 years, struggled to have kids. We have two. We had our son without problem, and then we had our daughter after that. And it took us a little while with our daughter. We thought, that's kind of strange, but we thought, not a big deal. And then when we wanted to have our third child, it took us 2.5 years. And then we had, in fact, my wife had 2 miscarriages.
Wow.
And after we had 2 miscarriages, a friend of mine, I called a buddy of mine who I knew had 7 rounds of artificial insemination, and then his wife got pregnant. And then she actually miscarried after that. And so we were like, I called him and I said, I know you guys had all your challenges with pregnancy, and then you ended up getting pregnant. What did you do? And he said, you've got to go see this doctor down in Utah County. He's got this magic drop.
Well, everybody figures there's a magic doctor in Utah County because there's just so stinking many kids.
Exactly. There's something in the water. But so they did. So anyway, we went and met with this doctor, and when he was talking to us about all the success, I kind of was going, why don't more people know about this? And so literally 45 days after my wife started taking this drop, after almost 3 years of trying, she got pregnant. So now we're expecting our third in August. We're excited about that little boy. And I went back to the doctor and my buddy, and we all decided to work together on producing this product and offering it to the masses. So, you know,
it's pretty neat.
It is. It's really neat. And so now I've got a son on the way. My buddy, who's my partner in this, also has a daughter because of it. And then we've offered it, you know, over the last year. The product's been around for about 30 years, quite frankly, but we've only been marketing it for about a year. And the neat part about it in the last years, we've actually seen a lot of these women who got pregnant are now having kids. So we're getting a lot of feedback from these women saying, hey, cool. I've got a little boy, or I've got a little girl now, and that they wouldn't otherwise have.
Well, when you and I talked about this, the numbers are sort of staggering. Enough that, as you said, they're a little overwhelming. Like people would be like, whatever. No, they're really quite amazing.
We actually hired a group. So in the last year, we sent out over 1,000 bottles, and we went and interviewed, those who would participate in our interview, and I interviewed over, it was almost 200 women. And it was interesting, the 2 statistics that came back that were most shocking were, number one, how many women actually got pregnant. It was almost 70%, 68.9% of the women who responded said they were able to become pregnant. But one of the other things we found was interesting was 43% actually responded that they had an increased libido.
There you go. That was something people happy there.
Exactly. We weren't expecting that. But
all of a sudden the guys are all behind this.
All the ears perk up. They're like, wait a minute, hold on. But so the reason why that works is, see what these drops do, they're not a magic, hey, fertility, this is what's going to make me fertile. What it is these drops actually do, they help the woman's uterus. It prepares the best environment for a woman to conceive and maintain a pregnancy. And so, you know, the question is a lot of these women don't know how healthy their uterus is. And so that would be a question, like, how healthy is your uterus? Well, a lot of women don't think about that.
And how would they know, really? I mean, that's the thing. You don't exactly know. It's an internal thing.
But so one of the ways you can tell is actually during menstruation, if a woman is cramping really badly, that's having super heavy mood swings, super heavy flow, generally speaking, that means that the uterus isn't perfectly healthy. And so what this does, what our drops do, is actually help bring blood to the uterus. And when there's blood to the uterus, it's how the body heals itself.
Yeah, well, it's how it cleans itself out, too.
Exactly.
You know,
that's exactly
right. Goes to the liver, we get cleaner blood, we get cleaner everything.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Nice.
And so the core to a woman's health is her uterus. And when her uterus is healthy, her levels are balanced, her hormones are balanced, estrogen's better. And it's just, you know, one of the response we get a lot of times as well is the fact that a woman will say, you know, I feel like I did when I was in my early 20s. And that's
a good thing.
Yeah.
If you're feeling like that, then things are probably ideal.
Exactly.
Well, interestingly, now this is a homeopathic doctor that you partnered with. He's come up with some other stuff too. And you know, I always think about, you know, the side of homeopathic medicine as just looking at the history of medicine, really going back to the very beginnings. This is where it all started. You go to ancient, China and lots of different Asian countries. This is where most of the stuff comes from. And when we look at, well, even here, Native Americans too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We start to figure out what plants can help us, and of course we also have a problem with some of them that bother us.
Exactly.
Allergies, things like that.
Exactly.
And you guys have even come up with something for that.
Yeah, and in fact, this doctor, again, he actually specializes in allergies. In fact, the product for women's health was kind of a surprise. It was actually, he discovered it in Europe about 30 years ago and has been using it in using it here in the States ever since. But he does his own blends, but before that he was an allergy specialist. And so he literally has hundreds of different formulas, of which Yiva will actually participate in and probably promote about 10 of them. So right now we have the Women's Fertility Boost.
Which is called?
Yiva.
Yiva
Naturals, but Yiva.com is our website. But we have, the one for Fertility Boost. We have the Woman's Daily Balance, which is a woman would take every single day to help just maintain her normal estrogen levels and hormonal levels, etc. And then we have 3 drops for allergies. We have a Grass X, a Pollen X, and a Sage and Pine X. So of course those are the ones, if you struggle with grass, if you struggle with pollen, if you struggle with sage and pine, those will help you.
Kind of need I'm going to need the trifecta there.
Yeah, you and me both.
I have a problem with all 3 of those.
You and me both. I actually used to, as a kid, I used to get the Kenalog shot. Which I have later found out that's really bad for you.
I get that too.
Yeah. And so they said you've got to do that because it'll knock down your receptors or whatever and help you deal with allergens. Well, our drops, what they do is we give 1 part per million, basically is what it is, to help your body really understand how to deal with the allergen without overreacting. So you react to the allergen and learn how to deal with it without overreacting to the allergen.
This shouldn't be a huge surprise to any of us in that if you've watched the media at all in this area, you've seen that they've started to use introducing the allergens as a way of getting over them.
That's exactly right.
Even attempts at peanut allergies, although very difficult and very scary, even that one has been attempted that way as well. So I guess it shouldn't be a big surprise to us.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what it is. It's training your body how to deal with certain elements so that it doesn't, because that's what happens is, there's a tree would release pollen. It's an enormous amount of pollen, and your body thinks it's an invader of some sort, and so it tries to block it out by sneezing, runny eyes, runny nose, itchy eyes, etc. And what happens here is your body actually learns how to deal with those allergens and say, hey, I can handle this. This isn't a problem. And studies as recently as last week have been saying that that we're becoming more allergic to things because we have all these other shots to help us with our immunity. We have your immunization shots. So your body doesn't have to fight those anymore. So now it's just fighting allergens.
Wow. So, turns all of its effort right there.
Exactly. So it makes your allergies even worse than they were before.
Wow. Well, let's. We probably have time to talk about one more. So let's talk about one more of the, the formulas you guys have come up with.
Yeah. So we actually have an ADD formula as well. We have an ADD and melatonin. For anyone who struggles with sleeping, this is a fantastic alternative. Mostly because, it's an all-natural product. So depending on how difficult it is for someone to fall asleep, you can take anything from 5 to 30 drops. But again, because it's an all-natural product, you don't have to worry about it being too much. But for me, if I took 5 drops, in fact, I took 5 drops last night knowing I had to get up early and drive up here to Park City at like 10:30, and literally by 10:40 I was gone, which is abnormal for me because I have so much else going on.
Well, I'm a believer in this one specifically in that we found something that you spray on your pillow once that worked for me to get me to sleep, but it was actually so bad that I couldn't wake up. This is not ideal. It's like having jet lag. I'm like, sleeping right through the bed. Forget it. But this one sounds a little more moderate. It sounds a little better. I'm not going to go out and drive a car sleep here.
No. Yeah, you want to get at least 6 or 7 hours of good sleep after this, but getting up is easy. In fact, your body, what it does is it helps reset your body. And that's a lot that we talk about, even with our female products. It actually helps reset their normal levels, and it helps you reset your sleep schedules. And that's what the melatonin does. For the women with the Yiva Daily Balance or the Yiva Fertility Boost, it helps reset their uterus to its natural original state.
Yeah, getting back to where things started is kind of the whole idea in medicine, typically anyway. Certainly in the way of homeopathic medicine, that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, if people are interested in getting some of these products, where do they go? 'Cause I'm sure people are at home going, increase libido. Where do I do that? You know,
exactly.
chance of having another kid. Cool.
Yeah.
You know, where do they do that?
Yiva.com. Right now, the only place we sell is Yiva.com. It's on our online store. We actually have been in talks with a lot of different retailers, but we actually like the idea of being able to handle and control the sales ourselves and be able to respond to people as they have questions.
Well, speaking of that, you have some pretty direct contact with people and some pretty great stories.
Yes.
I'm assuming some of those stories are on the web?
Yes, they are. In fact, if you go and look on the website, we actually have a lot of video testimonials. We're big on that, where a woman can actually come in and tell her story. And so if you go to our website and look on success stories, you can kind of go through some of those. But, you know, we actually just earlier this month, we had a woman who's never been able to get pregnant, has been on our drought for 3 months. I showed you the message. And she's 42 years old and actually was able to conceive. So she's 3 months along with her first child at 42 years old. Yeah, so
that's amazing. Yeah. Well, we appreciate you being here, Rich, and sharing the story. Yiva Naturals is a Utah product. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be back with more. We got to check it out video. This one is really cool. It's one of the Red Bull videos, and it'll be coming up after this.